The sun was dipping behind the old neighborhood as rumbling thunder echoed in the distance, not from the sky, but from engines. Big, roaring, beast-like Harley engines rolling slow and steady down Maple Street. A child, no older than 7, sat at the doorstep of his dusty, small wooden house. His face was bruised, his eyes swollen from crying. His tiny hands clutched a torn teddy bear, and his legs trembled like the last leaf in winter's wind. People walked by and glanced, but none dared to stop. The boy was whispering to himself, shaking with fear, as though he was waiting for something, or someone. Then suddenly, the sound of motorcycles grew louder, echoing across the block. The ground trembled. The windows shook. A line of leather-clad bikers, the infamous Iron Soles Brotherhood, known across towns for their fierce loyalty and brutal justice, rolled in slowly, forming a solid steel wall in front of the boy's house. At the front sat Grizz, the president, a towering man with a scar dragging across his face and eyes that burned with a lifetime of battles. On his left, Mick, shaved head, tattoos up his neck, with fists like bricks. On his right, Annie Blaze, the only female rider, sharp as steel and feared more than any man in 3 counties. Their jackets bore the skull and flame emblem, worn not with pride, but with a promise: we protect our own, and destroy those who hurt the helpless. The engines cut. Silence fell. The entire street seemed to hold its breath. Grizz stepped off his motorcycle, his boots hitting the ground like thunder. He knelt beside the boy, his rough voice softer than anyone ever believed possible for a man like him. "Talk to me, little man," he said. "Who hurt you?" The boy sniffled. It wasn't me," he whispered. He hit my grandma. I tried to stop him, but I'm small. I tried." His voice cracked as tears spilled again. The boy pointed to the house. "He's inside. And Grandma, she's not moving." The biker's eyes hardened. Family was sacred, whether born into it or chosen by loyalty and love. And this child, clearly had neither to protect him. But now he did. "Name," Grizz growled gently. "Jason," the boy whispered. "My name is Jason, please help her." Grizz turned to his crew. "Nobody, and I mean nobody, hurts a grandma on our watch." Blaze was already moving, pulling her leather gloves tight as she marched to the porch. Mick cracked his neck, rolling his shoulders. One of the younger bikers whispered, "President, police?" Grizz didn't look back. If the law was gonna help this kid, they'd already be here. Today, we're the law. Jason clung to Grizz's sleeve. "He's dangerous, he yells a lot, and he drinks. He always hurts Grandma when he's angry." Grizz placed his heavy hand on the boy's shoulder, not heavy with weight, but with protection. "Not anymore." Then came the scream, a man's voice from inside. "Who the hell are you? Get off my porch." A drunken man staggered out. Face red, bottle in hand. "A bunch of dirty bikers think they can." Mick's fist crashed into the wooden post beside him, splintering it. The man froze. "Say one more word," Mick growled, "and that will be your face." Blaze stormed past the man into the house. Seconds later she shouted, "Grizz, she's breathing, but barely." Jason gasped, relief flooding his eyes like sunrise after a nightmare. The man shoved Blaze's shoulder, trying to follow her in, and that was all it took. Grizz grabbed him by the collar, lifted him off the ground like a rag doll, and slammed him against the wall so hard dust rained down from the roof. "You put your hands on a grandmother," Grizz hissed, voice shaking with rage. "Tell me why I shouldn't break every finger you used to hurt her." The man stuttered, lost between anger and fear. "She disrespected me. She doesn't do what I say. She deserves." Crack. Mick's fist collided with his jaw before he could finish the sentence. The man collapsed like wet cloth. Grizz leaned down. "She's not your servant. She's a woman who raised a child, probably raised you too, before you became this wasted excuse of a man. The man screamed, "I'll call the cops." Grizz smirked coldly. "Do it. We'll wait right here. Let's see who they arrest, the guy who beat an old woman, or the bikers who rescued her." Neighbors poked heads out of windows. Some whispered. Some prayed. But nobody stopped them, because deep down, every soul in that street knew, this was justice. Blaze carried Grandma out in her arms, thin, pale, fragile like a flower crushed under a boot. Jason ran to them crying, hugging her hand gently. "Grandma. I got help. I found them." Blaze whispered, "She's gonna make it, kid." Sirens faintly wailed in the distance. Someone had called emergency services after all. Grizz placed his leather jacket around the shivering Grandma. "To us," he said, "grandmas are sacred." Jason looked up with watery eyes. Are you angels?" Grizz chuckled softly, a sound rare as winter roses. "No, kid. Angels drive clouds. We drive steel." Then he stood tall, turning to the cameras, as if speaking to every viewer watching the video. "You see someone hurting the weak, you don't walk away. You don't film it for likes. You do something. Courage isn't loud. It's standing when a small voice says, 'Please help.'" He revved his engine. "And if you ever need us again, just call the Iron Souls." The bikers roared to life, forming a steel convoy. Jason waved with shaking little hands, clutching his grandma's fingers as the ambulance arrived. The abuser lay whimpering on the ground, powerless, exposed, defeated.